I'd had an argument earlier in the day with my boyfriend. It wasn't over anything important, but it was one of those things that had been building for a while. He wasn't a bad guy, but he could be boring, and I wasn't in the mood to be bored, and it was time for a change. Moving on would be the best for both of us. It was time. I headed out to a local hotel that had a once-a-month singles night in their banquet room. I'd always been curious about it, and tonight seemed to be the night to satisfy that interest. When I arrived, I paid the cover charge, received 2 tickets for free drinks, and went in. The room itself reminded me of a high school prom-style setup, filled with overage students. I was in my late 30s, no kid myself, but I was one of the younger females there. Don't get me wrong, a lot of the over 50 crowd were attractive-looking women, but the men in the crowd tended to be younger. There was not a lot of age-appropriate matchups available. This was simply a high-class hookup spot, but that was all right with me. That's what I was there for. Being among the younger 20%, perhaps 10%, I'm not sure, had its advantage here. I knew it made me a prime target, a choice piece of real estate for some guy to plant his flag on, so to speak. I went to the bar and exchanged one of my drink tickets for a glass of Chardonnay, and knew the sharks would begin circling soon, and that thought excited me. I was also right. Several men, both older and younger, came over asking me to dance, which I did, and others offered to buy me drinks, which I politely refused. I didn't mind getting a little tight, but I didn't want to get so completely wasted that I'd make a decision that I was going to regret later, if I could help it. After returning to the bar, after dancing with an older gentleman, I heard a voice behind me ask, "Room on your dance card for one more?" I turned and saw a nice, pleasant-looking man smiling at me, and he had a killer smile. He appeared younger than me. I guessed in his late 20s. I knew right away I would be willing to sleep with him if I didn't detect any personality defects or gross idiosyncrasies. It's hard to explain why. It wasn't that he was incredibly handsome or anything like that. It's just that my instincts told me he had potential. Without saying a word, I slid off the bar stool and walked out on the floor, glancing over my shoulder to see if he was following. He was. Lucky me. The DJ was playing some slow music, which was fine with me. I figured nothing would make an impression on my young stranger like a warm female body pressed tightly against him. I was apparently correct, because within minutes I was aware of his erection trapped between us. I knew then and there he was ripe for the picking. Mine if I wanted him. It was a lovely feeling. I laid my head on his shoulder in an attempt to let him know I was truly interested. When the music ended, I held the position several seconds before stepping back from him. When I did step back, I looked up at him with my most innocent smile. "Why don't we find a table instead of sitting at the bar?" I suggested, knowing if he went with me, I was in control. "Yeah," he answered with some surprise. "Of course, that'd be great." We went back to the bar to gather up our things and order a couple more drinks. His arm was around my waist. Nothing too aggressive, just enough to assure me he was interested. When we went to order the drinks, he insisted on paying for them, and I didn't argue. I told him I was drinking Chardonnay, but he shook his head. "Chardonnay is good, but you deserve better. I hear they make a wicked Bellini here. Care to try one?" I said I'd love to. It was that "you deserve better" line that did it. This guy was kind of smooth, but not overly so. He wasn't reeking of overconfidence. I could tell he wasn't a player, which was good. I wasn't in the mood for a player.